The 404 Show is supported by Citi Cards with Android Pay. Are you listening to our fine program on your phone? Well, now you can pay while you listen using the same device. Just tap and go. Download the Android Pay app on Google Play or visit Citi.com/Android Pay to get started. Android Pay is available for eligible Citi consumer credit and debit cards. Hey, what's up? What is going on? It is Friday, August 12th, 2016. You are listening to The 404 Show, coming to you from the website cnet.com/the-404_websites. How are you, Russ Rushdick?
I wanted to see how long you could monologue for just on your own.
I could probably do it.
You think you could do a full hour of just you talking?
If I had somewhat of a vague rundown, yeah.
But even that, I feel like you'd run through each of the points so quickly. Like an hour of straight talking, just you.
So think about it. No one does that. Like no one, even if you're your own radio show,
sure.
You got commercials,
stuff like that.
You got the whole thing.
And if it's like an emergency, like a Tom Brokaw, and an emergency happens, you're cutting to interviews. You've got like whatever producers in your ear, but just you monologuing. I mean, unless you're Colin Quinn doing a Broadway show.
Yeah, that's the right analogy. I think. No, I don't know. I think you do it. I think like there is a certain kind of gait you need to have because
a more casual swinging gait.
Right, and you know how you have to know how to use like pauses effectively.
Yeah.
And take beats where it's contextually appropriate.
Can I try to do a pause, effective pause?
Yeah, let me hear it.
So today we're talking about Suicide Squad and.
No, it's too long.
I liked it. Is it too long?
That's too long. That was like shockingly long.
Okay. I thought it. I'll bet listeners find that disarming and more engaging, like orally.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like there will be at least one or two people who think the podcast broke.
Okay.
But
then they look down at their phone.
It was like, oh, there's 40 minutes left.
Right, exactly. And how long is he going to go for?
Yeah. You've done it.
If you hadn't talked, I might have gone for another 30 seconds.
Oh, God.
Who knows?
God help us. We do have a lot to talk about today.
We do.
A lot happening in the world of gaming and tech. We'll get to some movie stuff. First thing I want to talk about real quick is music.
Okay.
So when little Jeff was like 10, 11, 12, he was introduced to a band called Green Day.
Dookie.
Yeah, it was about that time, maybe a little before. When I was 10, I believe their second record, Kerplunk, came out.
Okay.
And I got into them through a family friend had a mix CD or something like that, and Green Day was on it, and it was Welcome to Paradise.
Okay.
But it was like the older recording of it.
Sure.
And Green Day kind of like, that's how I got into Green Day.
Yeah.
And I was really a Green Day fanboy for probably a decade.
Sure.
From like maybe the early 90s all the way, probably more, 2 decades. I mean,
because American Idiot.
Like American Idiot was such a strong record.
Yeah.
All things considered. Anyway, in the last 5 years, Green Day's sort of taken a back seat.
Have they been putting out albums?
Yeah, so they put out a trio of records, I want to say 2 years ago, maybe in 2014.
Okay.
That was called like Uno, Dos, and Trey.
Okay. Like
their drummer, Trey.
Yeah, that's funny.
It's hilarious. And I don't know, I feel like they had sort of been castrated a little bit, right? Like their music didn't really have the energy and sort of speed and
turning into old dudes
and I mean, like they're all in their early to mid 40s.
Yeah,
they have children.
Sure.
They have wives. They have families.
It's hard to have that edge. I mean, they lasted for a very long time, but it's hard to have that edge when again you lose that like creative motivator for a lot of people. Like it's like, well, I whatever. I take first class everywhere. It's hard.
Right. Like, what do I have to be punk about anymore? And, that was like their biggest criticism, I guess, especially when they broke out on the scene. And like, I want to say that was like 94.
Sure.
Was like, oh, these guys are posers. This is like a pop punk band, which they are. They're a pop punk band.
Sure.
But like, there was also this attitude they used to have that they kind of lost, not to their own fault.
They just grew up.
They grew up a little bit, and that's what happens. Anyway, the reason I bring them up is because they released a new song yesterday.
A single.
A single. What is that?
So when cassettes were big, which is many years ago,
Yeah.
and singles would come out, cassettes would be sold with just the single on them.
Oh, I
sometimes,
remember that.
and they'd call them cassettes.
And it was like a foot of tape. Anyway, they come out with this new song called Bang Bang, and when I played it for the first time, it was the first time I got that feeling of what I used to get when I would pop in a new Green Day CD
when you were
for
doing
the first time.
whippets and listening to Green Day.
No. We're not talking about that. We're talking about like when that record Insomniac came out, the
Okay.
follow-up to Dookie,
Sure.
which is a very good record.
Yeah, I haven't really listened to it.
You just get that feeling where it's like, they're back.
Exciting.
They're back.
You're pumped about it.
This song's fast.
Okay.
It's loud.
Yeah.
And I want to play some of it for
Okay.
you
Yeah,
people.
play a little bit.
We're going to play some Green Day on the show. This is like something I feel like I should have done many moons ago.
Seriously.
But here's their new song. It's called Bang Bang.
I get my kicks and I want to start a rage. I want to dance like I'm on the video. I got a fever for violent behavior. I'm sweating bullets like I'm not a Romeo. Hey, give me that. Shoot me up to anything. I want my side. I'm a manic lollipop. You're dead. Give me death, don't give me up. Daddy's little psycho and mommy's little soldier.
Yeah, so
Weird.
it's kind of quick.
So, yeah. It is. I like it a lot. It is weird because it does sound like tonally very much like how they sounded originally,
Of course.
which is, again, weird when you consider that they're 45.
Yeah. I mean, this song would not have been on American Idiot.
No.
This song wouldn't have been on anything that they've done in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and like the breakdown's good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't think we could play the whole thing, or
No.
like YouTube will like
think it's
try
probably
and,
too late.
yeah, it's too late for that. I think we're already in trouble. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm into it.
Yeah, it's a good track. I mean, it sounds like very much like a Green Day
Oh,
track.
for sure.
Like, it does not feel like they're dipping into new waters with
And
that.
I don't think they ever will. There was a time when they did that.
Yeah.
But this is just, for me, this is like mid 90s Green Day.
You know what
it's
it feels
kinda
like?
cool.
It's like when everyone freaked out about the mini NES that Nintendo's selling. Doesn't it feel like that?
This is just like this, Russ.
You don't think you understand what I'm saying though?
Nope.
I'm saying that this, I think, and it's a little crass to think of it as like a marketing tactic, but like they know, or why Stranger Things is blowing up. They know nostalgia works.
Okay, Green Day has no one to impress. Like, they don't need to do... I'm just
But
saying...
I think they care that that their music is popular.
I think they do. I don't think you're wrong about that. I think it's a mixture of a lot of things, right? Like, when you are in a band like this, and especially you look at like bands like Blink-182 who kind of like rode their wave. Not to say that Green Day like started pop punk music, but they definitely projected it into the limelight.
Sure.
Or helped do that. So... I don't know. It's just, I think it's like a fun thing where it's like, oh yeah, okay, do something you guys did 20 years ago.
Yeah, totally. And that's what I'm saying. It's like a nostalgia move.
For
almost.
sure. Yeah, definitely. You're absolutely right.
Damn.
How about that? It's good, man.
good. Yeah,
the new
I like it.
record's called Revolution Radio. It comes out in October.
Are all three? So they're all still in it.
They're
The
all
same
still in
people?
it. And they do have they have like a fourth guy who's been with them for like 15 years.
Does he play like the cymbals?
No, he plays triangle.
Oh, okay.
No, he's like their second guitar player.
Okay.
I actually think he like just beat cancer a little while
good for
ago
him.
too. So that's
Well
a
done.
great story. But yeah, they've been touring with that guy. And then I didn't know this either, but Billy Joe from Green Day has been in a few movies.
Has he?
Yeah, and he was in American Idiot on Broadway for a while.
Oh, like performing?
Yeah, I saw him. He played the character, one of the
Weird.
characters. Yeah.
Oh, but not like the main guy.
No, he wasn't like the dude.
Okay, I didn't
guess
see the play, but
it wasn't the best. But like,
sure.
it was just weird.
It was like Tommy, essentially.
Maybe that's.
I mean,
kicking
but
the pants to Tommy.
that's what they were trying to do.
Sure. I think so. He's in this movie called Geezer, where he basically plays himself.
Sure.
But like, I wouldn't call Billy Joe Armstrong washed up because I think he's very much part of the musical zeitgeist still.
Sure.
He plays someone who's washed up and hasn't been in his punk band was great.
Sort of like,
and he's been 10 years on hiatus.
So like a Birdman type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Man,
Fred
I'm crushing
Armisen,
the analogies.
Fred
today.
Armisen's in it. I think Selma Blair's in it. Like
Nice.
and he's like the main character.
Yeah.
Apparently they sold it at Sundance. So
Oh, that's good for him.
or Cannes, wherever the hell
Mazel
it was.
tov.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, little Green Day update for 12-year-old Jeff.
Yay.
12-year-old Jeff thanks you for listening.
Green Day
to what
on
he
the
has to say.
Friday.
So all right, so we got some stuff. Where do you want to go first here? Because I want to talk about movies. I want to talk about No Man's Sky.
Let's talk about No Man's Sky for a little bit.
Okay.
I realize not everyone plays video games that's listening to the podcast, or most people maybe.
But at the same time, like, you probably have heard about it.
Yeah, it's been in the sort of mind frame of a lot of people for really 2 years because it's had so much hype to it.
Right.
If you've heard absolutely nothing, the logline pitch of it is you're in a spaceship. There are a quadrillion randomly generated planets and animals, and
I think it's 18
whatever it
quintillion.
is. An astounding number generated by algorithms made by these 10, 15 people in England. And the idea is you fly around the galaxy and you explore all these random things and you take pictures of things, and it's sort of for a long time was this like mythical beast of a video game, which is
was the Jesus game.
It was the Jesus game, which is like, this is gonna be I'm just gonna spend my entire life going from planet to planet and like, what's here?
Right.
What's here?
Like, I won't need to buy another game.
I won't need to buy another game.
Because this will be it.
And okay, so that's sort of the baseline. It came out this week. I started playing it last week. We got a bit of an early copy somehow, and then but it came out this week. Have you played it?
Yeah, I've played like 15 hours.
Okay, so I think the general response is that most people are, well, I wouldn't say most people, but a lot of people are unhappy because it did not live up to the outrageously stupid expectations that they might have had for the game.
That goes without saying. Like,
Sure.
It's amazing to me that like still people put this emotional investment into something they know nothing about, really.
Well, they put a monetary investment, so it's like,
of course, and I get it.
Yeah.
Right? I get that. But like, people project. Like, this game has been a prime example of like how vulnerable people are to their own projections about what they want games to be.
Exactly.
And like what's in your head and what's reality.
Yeah.
And this game is just not what everyone wants it to be.
What's so weird about it is I went in when I initially heard about it, I was like, wow, that's cool, but they probably can't pull it off. And then I started seeing it at E3s a few times. So I saw them like showing an early demo of it, and I was like, oh, this doesn't look super good. Like, it ran really janky and it looked kind of crummy and whatever.
Yeah.
So before the game came out, I was like, my expectations were pretty low, actually. You know, I've played a lot of those games like Spore that were supposed to be life-changing and ended up coming out and sucking.
Right.
And with that mindset, I actually ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would, because they actually were able to pull off, I would say 95% of the promises that they made about this game were accomplished.
Yeah.
Now, it's a question of how
but it's the execution of that people are not super stoked on.
Yeah, but
or at least had misconceptions about.
Misconceptions, maybe. And I'm not saying that they pulled off everything. Like, there are certain things they were, I don't know, intentionally deceptive, but certainly weirdly cagey about multiplayer for a very long time.
And still kind of
are. And there really isn't any multiplayer, really. But for the most part, they pulled everything off. Now, I don't know for sure what people would have wanted necessarily. I think there are limitations in the sort of game that they built. So they built a game that's generated by math.
Right.
No one's designing these levels. They plug in an algorithm. They add a number variable, however it works, and the math spits out a planet and animals and weird stuff like that.
So, like, for me, and we were talking about this yesterday with Alex from Giant Bomb, like, the reason he loves this game so much is because he just likes seeing what happens when the dice gets rolled.
Yes.
And, like, getting into a new planet is always, you know, you kind of have an idea of, like, what it's probably going to look like,
Sure.
or at least you have personally sort of understood the gamut of assets that are that this game's drawing from. And the whole idea of like getting in there and saying, hey, this is, you know, what exactly what's possible in this sort of game, you know, once you wrap your head around it, it's tough to get super surprised.
Sure. Yeah, I would say there's like, let's say that there's like 8 to 10 kinds of planets. So whether that's a jungle planet or a grass planet or
ice, water,
whatever. And then it's like, is it acid rain? Is it a fire?
Right.
Is it
which kind of doesn't
cold?
matter.
Which doesn't super. I mean, it'll change the visuals of it.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere changes color and stuff like that. So yeah. I mean, I've probably put in 10 or 20 hours, and at this point, like, I'm not really running into planets that look that dramatically different.
Right.
And I think that's the issue that a lot of people have, is that you lose that sense. The first 5 hours of the game are outrageous and like super amazing.
Yeah.
And that sort of wanes very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's also an issue because there's not like a lot to like strive for. I mean, essentially all you're doing is finding things that like make your jetpack a little faster or make your sprint a little longer or whatever, your ship a little bit faster. So there isn't necessarily that tug. But I also think what people underestimate is like, this was made by 15 people.
Like, let's appreciate how amazing of an achievement it is.
Crazy.
And the scale, like the sense of scale that they were able to pull off.
Yeah.
Like, planets are the sizes of planets.
And you feel small on a lot of, like, you're like, whoa, there's a giant like rock formation in front of me, and you feel tiny. I think people are a little pissed off at the price tag, which is probably a legitimate maybe, because it's $60, which is like a full price of a game. It's not. I wouldn't say. I think it's certainly worth more than 20. But when you compare it to, you know, a lot of, well, I don't know. It's hard to say because there's a lot of crappy AAA games that aren't worth $60 either.
But the value proposition aside, I think the thing that I have to tell people about this game is that you're going to spend a lot of time in the menus.
Yeah.
Crafting shit.
Yeah.
Getting stuff to like line up. Chasing down ingredients and resources. And like, you know what? For me, chasing all that stuff down and the monotony of and repetition of that is simply not fun. Like, I don't want to manage inventory beyond a very sort of like surface level sort of thing. Like, I get it. Like, games have to have that in games, but like this game kind of like leans into that too much for me.
Now, the question I have for you is, what would you, like, if they were, let's say they removed the inventory, let's say there's no inventory issue whatsoever,
then there's not a lot of game there.
There's not a lot of game there. That's exactly right. And why from a design perspective, why the inventory is there, and I realize we're getting a little game nerdy for a second, it's to slow you down, to make sure that you're not seeing 60 planets in an hour and then being like, oh, those planets are kind of similar.
Right.
It's
maybe,
like, so each planet feels a little bit more unique for a little bit longer. So you have that 5 to 10 hours of originality rather than 1 to 2 hours.
I know.
So there's a reason for it. I'm not saying, like, I think the UI has serious issues. I think there's a lot of issues for it. There's a reason they did them. And they, for what it's worth, they are planning a lot of free significant updates in the future, and they're going to make a crap load of money
for sure. And it'll be cool to see like where they can add.
They want to do base building and a bunch of other
rock
stuff.
And roll. I say if you have the means, try it out. If you don't want to spend $60, wait till they discount this thing in a couple months and it's $40.
Throw in sell the engine to Star Wars, and I'm like buying this game again in a heartbeat.
Well, I know that.
Like, how awesome would that be?
It would be all right.
Right.
I guess.
don't know. Sell this game to, I don't know, Green Day.
Sell it to Green Day and just have
Green Day rock and roll.
Then a space opera with Green Day.
Yeah.
So that's No Man's Sky. If you want to read more about that, we've got impressions post on the site and some gameplay stuff that I did yesterday.
There's also some guy, if you are playing the game and you want some tips like how to boost jump or how to increase your inventory space really fast. Polygon, youtube.com/Polygon.
There you go.
Edited a bunch of videos that are like guide videos.
There you go. And
you could hear my voice.
The first real-time competition mid-air collision happening on the 404 show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, much more to talk about. Please stay with us. The 404 Show is supported by City Cards with Android Pay. How cool is it that we live in a world where you can use the same device to listen to our fine program and buy your morning coffee, groceries, and more? And did I mention it's a super fast way to pay? Just use your City Card with Android Pay at the register. Get in, get it, get going. Download the Android Pay app on Google Play or visit city.com/Android Pay to get started. Android Pay is available for eligible City consumer credit and debit cards. Hey, welcome back to the 404 Show. Man, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad got obliterated in reviews.
Just demolished.
Suicide Squad was taken out back and beaten with a hose.
Really crushed into oblivion.
Yet, you people...
Well...
You people...
No.
Went and saw it.
Yeah, and mass. Like, it made a ton of money on the first
It made well over $200 million.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, which is an astounding amount of money, but... This,
So okay, well, go on.
I just want to say, like, the same thing happened to Batman vs. Superman, and...
Yeah, but the drop-off...
The drop-off was huge.
Was like 70%.
And I think you're going to see the exact same thing. Because even people that are fans of comic books and DC... It seems like everyone is pissed off. It got a B+ on CinemaScore, which is like an F- in humanity.
If Suicide Squad did not get, if it got more mediocre reviews,
yeah,
as opposed to the abysmal reviews it earned, do you think it would change anything?
I think the fall off would be less, and I think there would be maybe some more of a chance of like Blu-ray sales, if that's even still a thing. But like at this point, like they'll cheer that they got a huge opening weekend, but like, man, fire everybody at DC making these movies. Fire.
Well, it's not
at
DC.
Warner. Sorry,
yeah.
At Warner. That's what I mean. Whoever's
But the guy who directed this had a pretty good pedigree.
Ayers is very hit or miss. He's had some like
he did Fury, right?
He did Fury, which is a good movie,
like
but he's
that.
also had some like pretty
stinkers,
bad movies. And so there's a lot of weird things about Suicide Squad. I think the big weird thing is that the first trailer came out, and the company that made that trailer, which is a company called Trailer Park, is like very known as one of the best trailer makers in the business.
Yeah.
And it basically promised a movie that was not in existence. It promised a fun, silly, over-the-top villains getting together, fighting over Queen music. And when that trailer was cut, it didn't exist.
The movie didn't exist.
That movie did not exist. Yeah. The movie that existed was dark. It was from the director of Fury. It was a bummer. And I'm not saying you can't make a dark superhero movie. Look at Dark Knight. Like, clearly you can.
That's kind of like lightning in a bottle, though.
Right. So the trailer promised Deadpool, essentially. It was promising an experience like Deadpool.
A Deadpoolian.
And they even did reshoots because they knew that first trailer was so popular and the movie was nothing like that first trailer.
Well, then they shouldn't have approved the trailer. I mean...
No. Well, so at that point, you're like, oh, we have this super successful trailer that's going to encourage a bunch of people to see our movie. We're going to toss that out because it doesn't match the movie.
Maybe they, temper expectations with it a little bit. Or, like, get the messaging of what the thing they created.
But I think they knew that the thing they created was not very good. And they have... As you said, lightning in a bottle. With that trailer, the enthusiasm was over the roof. Why would you, as a money-making endeavor, be like, yeah, I know you guys are pumped for this, but it's actually this super dour, lame, not funny experience that you're going to see. That's not how people work. They just need to, at this point, they've had Man of Steel. They've had Batman vs. Superman. They've had this movie. 3 movies that were critically panned, progressively more panned with each movie coming out. Like, you just need to overhaul the entire organization. And I've heard like a lot of things structurally of like how Warner Brothers works is like it's just like structurally not in a healthy place. Mm-hmm. And this sort of exemplifies that. I've heard a lot of comparisons to like Microsoft at certain points in Microsoft's career, where it's like everyone needs their hands on it, everyone needs a little bit of credit, everyone needs to like feel like they impacted it, and the end result is this hodgepodge of like marketing schlock and like not fun drag. Whereas like, say what you will about even the bad Marvel movies, they're at least kind of entertaining. Like there's not been a Marvel movie in the last 10 years that was like, I'm completely bored right
Oh, I think you're wrong.
What?
Fantastic Four.
Sorry. I should be clear. I mean the Disney Marvel movies.
Oh, okay, not the Sony ones.
Not the Sony ones.
Is that what it...
Sony. I think Sony has Fantastic
And
Four.
Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man. Yeah. So I'm just talking about the Disney Marvel Cinematic
That's fine.
Universe.
So, and I kind of want to backpedal just a little bit when I was like, you people.
Yeah. I mean,
So here's my thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
someone comes up to me and goes, oh, you're going to see Suicide Squad, right? And I'm like, no.
Did this really happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it happened a bunch. I'm
Okay.
like, no, I'm not going to see that. Why not? It's totally up your alley. No, it's not. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm actually a little surprised.
I could not give less of a shit about
Why?
this movie.
Because of the pedigree of like what they've been doing recently?
No, not at all. Like, because I am very open about the fact that I judge a lot of stuff by its cover, right? I judge books by their cover,
Sure.
right?
Fine.
I think you have to in this age of
Limited
content,
time.
right?
Totally. Fine.
My life is time is money,
Yeah.
time is precious.
Yeah.
Got to pick and choose what you're gonna do. You know what? I ain't gonna watch Breaking Bad. I'm probably never gonna see it. I ain't gonna see it. I'm not saying it's bad.
It's
Just
not.
saying
Yeah.
at this point in my life,
Yeah.
I just don't think I can add that on. I'm doing too many other things.
Okay, I understand. Sure.
Okay, that's
when
another
you
story.
retire, we'll look
Sure.
back on it.
when Netflix 4000 is out, right?
Yeah.
So I saw those trailers,
Yeah.
and like everyone was like super psyched on those trailers.
I like the first trailer.
but I
with
was
the
able.
Queen.
I sniffed some shit out of that.
Okay.
Number one,
No dialogue.
fine. But then there were like new trailers that came out. Maybe this is after the Bohemian Rhapsody one.
Okay, yeah.
Harley Quinn has a line. We're bad guys. It's what we do. Red flag.
Yeah, that. You're right. That is a big red flag.
Number two,
Yeah.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Joker
Just visually.
has a Joker tattoo.
Yeah.
What? Joker has a Joker tattoo?
Does it say Joker or
it-
is it a picture of the Joker?
There is a lot of promotional material out there. Again, I have not seen this movie. I think that's
Yeah.
abundantly clear. But when I saw a few of the production stills or some promotional material
Sure.
of the Joker,
Oh, yeah.
dude's got ha 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 tattooed all over him.
And damaged in very fancy script on his forehead.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the Joker would do.
Yeah.
And he also has in Gothic writing on his abdomen.
Yeah.
It says Joker. Red flag 2.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Jeff no see.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine the Joker sitting still in a tattoo chair.
Right? Like, I like the shading. Get out of here, man. Joker should
I'm
not
thinking
have
of coloring this
the
in later.
And again, like people are gonna say, Jeff, you're projecting Heath Ledger's Joker.
No, you should-
You're projecting a certain kind of
Right.
Joker. I've read a lot of Batman graphic
Yeah.
novels. I've done my research on what the Joker is, and don't get me wrong, I welcome other variants and other interpretations
Sure.
of what the soul of him,
Yeah.
or if you want to make a female Joker, whatever you want to do
Has
is
that ever
cool. I don't know, but they should.
I guess Harley Quinn.
Sure. Whatever you want to do is
Yeah.
cool, but the essence of that character and what they were clearly going for in this is not a Joker.
Yeah.
That would tattoo. Ha ha ha.
It's Hot Topic Joker.
It's Hot Topic Joker.
Yeah, 100%.
So get the hell out of here. I'm not seeing your stupid movie.
Yeah, those are all completely valid things. I saw what I was missing and what made me very suspicious is that like none of the trailers had like, they would have like one-liners that you mentioned, one of the bad ones, but they never had a scene. And a couple weeks before, they had one scene in like a business room where they showed Enchantress for the first time.
Right.
And it was just the most stiff, wooden, like soulless crap. And I was like, it felt like the first time I saw a scene from Jurassic World. And I was like, nope, not for me. This is going to be bad. And yeah, bad. I wish it worked out because I really...
Of course. Who doesn't want every movie to be good?
Well, but the spirit and the spirit of it, I like the spirit of Suicide Squad. I like the idea of it. I think it could be fun. I think with good writers, it has potential. I don't know that DC's supervillain catalog is that robust to necessarily support. When you have a dude whose pro ability is tying knots, you might be hitting a wall.
I think they could do something with the Batman villains.
Yeah, I think maybe you could do something with the Batman villains, but even
Like, I guess these are most of them, or some of them.
so, two of them. Oh yeah, and Killer Croc is in there.
Yeah.
too. Yeah. I don't know. It's
And Deadshot.
it's awful, and I guess
Isn't that his name? Deadshot or
Deadshot.
Shattershot?
Deadshot. I think it's
Who's
Deadshot.
Will Smith's character?
Deadshot. I
Deadshot?
think it's Deadshot.
Whatever.
Shoots people dead.
He's a Batman villain.
Yeah. I mean, this crossover. Obviously.
Were they all Batman villains?
No.
No.
I don't think. Yeah, no. It was like DC.
Yeah. It kind of doesn't matter.
You know, The Critic. You remember The Critic, the good show, the cartoon?
John Lovitz.
Yeah,
of course.
It
stinks.
Yes, and there's an episode of The Critic where John Lovitz has to teach English for cab drivers because his show gets canceled, and he ends up broadcasting live on cable access, and he does this whole monologue about if the movie stinks, just don't go. People, you know the movie stinks.
I know. Ugh.
Just have it fall off a cliff. You know what? It's just have it die. Don't go next week. If you've heard bad things, don't assume that you're going to like it.
That's the thing. Like, I truly believe the stupidity of crowds is such that people can't, they sure as shit can't handle the fact that something that they want to be good actually winds up being shit.
Sure.
They come up with these asinine conspiracy theories that the whole film press is out to get DC stuff. Get your head out of your goddamn ass, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, like, you know, the idiocy of crowds where it's like, well, maybe it's not that bad. I need to see it for myself, which is fine. Like, totally.
Hey,
friend, you are allowed to spend your money on whatever you want.
Totally.
You earned it. You go do it. But don't be surprised when this happens.
Right.
It's like you go to the restaurant, the guy in front of you orders the soup, he keels over and dies. Oh, maybe the soup's not that bad. Let me try it.
I've got a strong stomach.
No, that's not the case. You are going to die as well.
And that bullshit argument of like, oh, well, movie critics don't like popcorn films. That is crap.
You are wrong. They love them.
Deadpool is a popcorn film that was critically reviewed and well liked.
Movie's got like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
And so those exist. There are just way more bad popcorn films than there are good ones. So you just be there's so much good stuff you could be doing with your life. Don't waste it watching this crap. Or if you're gonna watch this crap, watch it on USA at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. Like, guys.
Look, I'm not about to stand on a soapbox and try and dictate taste.
Yeah.
Right? That's not what I'm trying to do.
You're sitting on a soapbox.
I'm sitting on it.
Yeah.
I'm just giving out free advice. You know, we kind of do it for a living. So
cream should rise to the top. Don't give bad things your money.
That's
my attitude.
That's the attitude. So
meritocracy.
I had an interesting thing happen the other day. I was in the car driving to hockey. I was talking to two of my buddies.
Yeah.
They're a little younger. They're about probably 8 years younger than me or so.
That's significant.
And we were talking about movies, and I forget how we got into it, but we were talking about sci-fi, and I think we were talking about maybe Stranger Things to start, and then we got to the point where we were talking about science fiction, and I had asked them if they had seen The Fifth Element.
Okay.
And I got like, oh, face?
Like, didn't even know it existed.
I'm not 100% sure they didn't know it existed, but, and I hope they're listening. But it was just no, we didn't see that. What's that?
Yeah.
What is that? And
Sure.
I think I definitely had to like go through the cast with them.
Right.
I was like, oh, it's Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker.
And they're like, who's Bruce Willis and Chris Tucker?
No, they know those guys. But like Mila Jovovich wasn't like necessarily something that, of course, Gary Oldman, everyone knows Gary Oldman. And it got me thinking like, oh God, it's not them, it's me.
It's you. You're old.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you're an old guy.
Because I don't know, I'm not an old guy. I'm not old.
You're old.
No, don't say that, because if I'm old, you're old, okay?
I got a couple years and then I'm old.
Wow, I didn't realize 34 was like the cutoff. It definitely made me feel old and sort of like question like, oh shit, is like that movie not as popular with a generation behind me?
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
Have you seen the movie All the President's Men?
No.
That's what I'm saying. All the President's Men was like a movie that everyone watched in the 70s or whenever it came out. It was like
All right.
70s or 80s.
But keep going down the list. Like
I don't have
like that's
a
one
full list.
because the point I'm eventually hoping to arrive at is that I think it's a generational thing because like I also think like if someone asked you or I like you guys haven't seen The Godfather, like no, of course we've seen The Godfather.
But I would also say, like I was telling you before we started, I haven't seen Casablanca, and there are like
that movie's literally from the 40s.
And but I would say like with The Godfather, the more time that goes on, the more likely that Godfather becomes Casablanca, which is to say, it becomes a movie that like, oh yeah, I heard you're supposed to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
just not enough time's passed. Like Fifth Element is only 17 years old. Like it's not that old.
So how
I'm
old
sorry. No, it's 19 years old.
How old were they when? So they were 6, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's fine. That's okay.
No, but
Blade Runner came out the year I was born, and I still made my business to see it. But
I would
before
also
I was
say,
21.
Like, Blade Runner. Yeah, I didn't see Blade Runner until I would say 5 years ago. It was the first time I saw it.
That's late.
That's
for
late.
you. For you,
It was
it's
late.
Yeah.
So
for our generation,
and it's that's the situation, which is like, especially now with like so much TV being good and so much stuff to watch.
And that's my point is that there's content overload now.
Yes.
When you and I were 18,
Right.
there wasn't.
Yes.
So we were able to nail it all down.
That's completely right. I think that, well, not only nail it all down, it's like movies were, I think, a much bigger deal then.
Of course, going to Blockbuster, going to the local store, was a thing.
Was an event.
And I'm not saying like I yearn for that.
Right.
I don't. I think it's way better now.
Right.
But it was also like so much more of an investment, emotional
A choice.
investment.
You're making a mental choice. It's not just like, oh, what's on Netflix today? Oh, whatever,
Right.
this documentary.
It's way better now.
Yeah, it's way better now, but it's not as, I guess, impact. Like, I have such clear memories of going to see Seven in the theater, and 12 Monkeys, and like that era of movies.
Yeah. What's the last movie? Was it so like they knew 12 Monkeys? 12 Monkeys came out like right around the same time.
Yeah, so like that's just a question of like where their focus was, I guess, or like. But it is a little weird. They've never heard of Fifth Element.
Well, maybe they heard of it, but like Fifth, like I don't know.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the show a lot, you know how strongly we feel about Fifth Element.
What was your first movie memory?
Ghostbusters 2 and
Okay.
Back to the Future 2.
Okay.
I remember seeing Back to the Future 2 in the theater and could not understand how they had the trailer for 3.
Yeah.
I was like,
remember.
what is this? I feel like I asked my mom, was like, what? How are they doing that? You know, and she didn't know. She was like,
I guess
she's like, this is from the future. I was like, you mean the past?
Whoa.
Ghostbusters 2 for sure, because that was 89.
Yeah.
And I think in the first real, this is an event going to and obviously the Ninja Turtles movies.
Yeah.
But the first thing where I was like by myself seeing a movie that made me feel scared and something
Jurassic Park.
was Jurassic Park.
Yeah. You went alone to see Jurassic
I saw it
Park?
with a friend, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I was probably like, what was that, 94? So I was like 10 when that came out. So I had that. That was my birthday. We had a bunch of friends, and one of my friends ran crying down the aisle.
It was 93, yeah. It was, it's a scary movie. How was I 11? Was I 11 when I saw that?
I have a late birthday. I do want to say, I think Indiana Jones 3 was the first movie I remember seeing in the theaters.
Last Crusade.
Last Crusade, yeah. Which was just like fantastic.
Is there a movie that you've had that experience with where like you cannot believe someone hasn't seen that?
You know, I don't do that anymore. There was a time when I'd be like,
you can't tell me you've never seen Back to the Future and I mean not like have my head spin.
There was a time,
I don't care how old you are.
No, there was a time when I was like that, where it'd be like, you haven't blah.
You haven't blah.
And it just, like, I get it now. There is just so much out there.
Yeah.
And there's a limited amount of time.
You're right. I have no business saying that to people.
And honestly, it gets me more excited than shocked, because it means like Alex, she is a few years younger than me. And we've been able to watch all of these classic movies that I love from the 90s that she's never seen before. Shawshank, Usual Suspects, Jurassic Park. She had never seen Jurassic Park until we watched it like a month ago.
That's
crazy, right?
That's weird.
Weird.
That is weird. So, but that's the thing.
But
like,
it's fun.
she sounds like she's close to the age of my buddies.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
I'm sure they've seen Jurassic Park.
And she had an older sister, which I think has a little bit more of an impact because you're like,
you do what they do.
And her parents took her to movies a lot. But even then, like, they still missed a lot of stuff.
Not seeing Jurassic Park is bizarre.
Yeah, having gone this long, even on it was on TV.
Like, you just run into seeing that movie.
Clue. We watched Clue together.
Oh, Clue's great.
By the way, the reason Clue, I'm sorry, working on a history of Clue video, that's a little preview of it.
Of the board game or the film?
Both, really.
The film's so good.
So
it's so damn good.
The reason Clue the film became a cult classic. Do you know this? It tanked in the theaters.
Was it the alternate endings?
No. So it tanked in the theaters, made very little money.
People
critically panned. Like
that doesn't make sense because I think it is a pretty damn funny movie.
It is a hilarious movie, but I don't know. I guess that at that time, farce was not really a top priority.
Yeah.
The reason it's a cult classic is because when it came out on VHS, to get more blockbusters to carry it, they lowered the price. Normally, a rental tape costs $100 for a rental price to get. And it's a high quality tape. You can watch it a bunch of times without it breaking. So they charge $100 per tape. Mm-hmm. But Clue was much cheaper because it was panned. So a lot of rental places got a bunch of copies of Clue because it was much cheaper, and therefore it was easy to rent. So a lot of people saw it. And also it was cheaper to like syndicate and stuff like
Interesting.
that. Yeah.
It's very good. If you haven't seen Clue, go watch Clue.
Terrific movie.
Tim Curry's so damn funny in it. So yeah, that's all we got to say about that right now for movies. You ever see Forrest Gump? No, I've never seen Forrest Gump. How have you not seen Forrest Gump?
But right, that's a movie that I would not want to motivate myself to watch again.
No, but it would be weird.
It would be a little weird.
Stacey had never seen 12 Monkeys. We watched that together a couple months ago. She loved it. She had also never seen Usual Suspects, but she did not like it as much, and she figured it out.
Yeah.
Which, like, by today's standards, you can figure that movie out real quick, which is an interesting sort of like social experiment.
One of the first of those when it came out. It was very novel.
Twisty. All right, let's get into the tech portion of the program. There's a lot happening if you care about technology, which CNET.com/technology is a destination for all your technology needs. We are a website about technology and technology news and Pokemon Go.
Yep.
So there's new MacBook Pros coming. Everyone's kind of not giving much craps about the iPhone 7. iPhone 7 is going to be announced on September 7th.
Yeah.
We'll be covering that, so make sure you keep it here for that. But new MacBook Pros are like 4 years overdue.
Are they?
The last update was 2012, I believe.
No.
Yeah, MacBook Pro. Yeah.
No.
Fine, look it up.
They've done refreshes, though. What are you saying? What are you saying as an update?
Not like a major overhaul.
A major overhaul. I understand. Okay.
Right? Like spec updates are one thing. They have not...
And they've added stuff like Force Touch and whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
But like massive form factor.
Sure.
So the rumor about the new MacBook Pros is that they're going to have, which is crazy, they're going to have a potentially, is a rumor, they're going to have like a touch strip screen.
Yeah.
That would sit in between the top row of numbers on the keyboard and the screen itself.
Basically replacing the function keys.
Right.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
It
seems unnecessary.
It does seem unnecessary. It's kind of cool that you could it could visually change based on what you were doing.
But like,
No, you don't need that.
You don't need that.
No.
And like, to me, I'm like, no. Route that battery, that drain that's going to be neat to do that and make the thing last longer.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that if you have to look down to use your keys,
yeah, you feel like a dick doing that. I don't know.
Is that the only aspect that they're really revamping that we've heard of?
Obviously, they're going to try and make it thinner. They're going to try and cram better graphic capabilities.
That's all spec update.
That.
So what? How does that sound like a major update to you?
Form factor is going to change. It's going to be thinner. That's a thing, dude. That is a different shell for this computer.
Yeah, but that much thinner?
USB 3.0. Change in ports.
Okay.
Don't just okay me.
Yeah. Okay.
You sound excited about it.
I like Mac computers again, but I've been a little bit disappointed in their last refreshes, especially the MacBook, which is the one that got rid of all the ports.
Yeah.
Only had one port.
Dude, that computer, I just don't get that computer. I mean, I get it, but it seems so underpowered. I think it's got I think it's got like a 1.5 gigahertz processor in it. It's just like, dude, that's a Facebook machine.
Yeah, it's just get a MacBook Air. MacBook Air is a great machine.
Yeah, it is, but like MacBook Air is also severely outdated in terms of the build of the computer. Like there's that huge ugly bezel around the screen. Like a lot of great screens now are edge to edge. They look a lot slicker. They got to update that, man.
But they can keep the price down, which is good.
I guess.
I love the MacBook Air.
I know you do. That's why you have your MacBook Pro.
But the dongle thing is just like,
I know. We're in a weird spot with laptops right now because you know,
not only laptops but cell phones as well. We're about to run into it with the iPhone 7.
Why? What about? Oh, because it's not going to have a headphone jack.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I'm very upset about that.
Like, I get it. They're going to be able to have a lightning port that goes to headphone, right? Is that going to be a thing?
Yes, that will be a thing. But you need to get a adapter for that.
Right, but it better come with the damn phone. You are not about to sell me a phone.
But even if it does, I'm still pissed off about that because I don't want a dongle hanging off my.
It's probably not going to be that bad. Like, what's the difference if it just extends the length of your headphone jack like 2 inches? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just going to poop out the bottom of it.
I guess.
I don't think it'll be that bad. But don't you for a second make me pay for that.
It'll be like $15.
I've been using headphones for 84 years, and you're just going to take that port out and not even give me the adapter in the box?
Is it really? It really takes up that much space. The headphone aspect really takes up that much space.
I don't know.
I guess it does.
It can't. I don't know. They're putting a speaker in its place.
Just put.
Man, you're preaching to the choir, man.
It really. That's of all the decisions that are coming. Like, I get excited about new iPhones. I really.
Of course, it's a thing. It's an event.
But
how do you not have a headphone jack? What the fuck?
I use headphones with my iPhone every single day, and needing to have an adapter bums me out. Just bums me out.
And Bluetooth headphones
suck.
They're just not there yet.
No. They would need to last a week without charging.
Just not there yet.
And they're not there yet.
And they don't sound that great.
No.
I've heard one or two that are acceptable. But I have those audiophile ears.
So I guess the question is there any chance that any of this is wrong?
No. I would be
really shocked, right?
Kind of bet anything.
Yeah, me too.
All right. We'll keep it there for Apple. It's just getting me mad. I know Stacy's in the market for a new phone, and I'm just.
I mean, it'll be interesting because they didn't. There's nothing really I can say.
Well,
I think there's going to be a demand for a lot of like older, maybe iPhones for people.
I feel like that 6 now or 6S.
Yeah,
that 6S is like the one to get.
Yeah.
For the foreseeable future.
It's like the MacBook Air, whereas the new iPhone 7 will be like the MacBook, which is like, oh, you like ports and headphone jacks?
Yeah.
Here you go.
So, No Man's Sky came out on Monday for press. I got my code early Monday morning. I'm playing it all day. I get a phone call about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's a man with an Indian accent.
Okay.
And he says, I'm not going to do that accent. That's
wise.
That's tasteless. But
yes.
He goes, hey, this is tech support.
Okay.
I was like, tech support for what?
Yeah.
He's like, sir, are you in front of your Windows machine? I said, I am. He said, good, there's something wrong with your computer.
Okay.
And I need you to follow these directions so we can fix it.
Oh.
So, like, obviously I know he's full of shit.
Okay, yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
And I'm looking on my phone for the recording button.
Oh, sure.
I'm like, oh, shit, I know I can do this somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? And I know. That
sucks.
I know. But don't worry, the call didn't last long.
Okay.
He goes, open up your web browser.
Okay.
And go to this website.
Yeah.
And I was like, sure, hold on. Wait.
Beep, boop, beep, boop.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from again?
Yeah.
He said Washington.
Okay.
I was like, state or DC? Washington. Okay, great.
Sure.
Bup.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't go to the website.
Obviously.
Because who knows what kind of, so he goes, are you there? I go, yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah.
And he goes, good. I need you to fill out the form.
Okay.
And we can get this fixed for you for a one-time fee of $49.99. And that's kind of like when I was just like, I was like, dude, how many people do you, I said,
Yeah.
F, how many people do you, how many people you fuck over every day?
Yeah.
And he's like, what, sir? This is important. Your computer is vulnerable. And I was like, is this your job, man?
Yeah.
Like, what? Is this your job? And then the jig is up, right?
Sure.
Calls me a mother effer.
Oh,
He goes, you're sitting there. And I'm like,
you're sitting there. What?
I don't know. I was like,
I mean,
he's
you
like-
were sitting there.
I was like, yeah. He's like, you mother. I was like, get a job. And I hung up.
Yeah.
Then I'm on the internet and Boing Boing on Wednesday has a story about tech support scammers.
Wow.
So this kid from the UK
Yeah.
got the call, I think it sounds like,
Okay.
and was like super polite about it.
Sure.
Was like, hey, I know this is fake,
Yeah.
but can you stay on the line with me because I want to talk to you?
Okay.
And he got like an interview.
Sure.
This is the thing.
Okay.
They called my cell, which I'm super pissed about.
Sure.
Super pissed about.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that that number is out there.
I get robocalls all the time.
I don't get them that often, but
Yeah.
but you can block those
Yeah, I do
numbers,
that
and
too.
that's not the worst idea. Anyway, he goes and his name's Lewis, the interviewer, and he's from Birmingham, UK. And Birmingham? Was it Birmingham?
Yeah. Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Yeah.
Birmingham.
Continue.
And he's been making videos about tech support scammers.
Yeah.
And he interviewed someone from Delhi, India, who told him about the whole operation. Now he's in a room with 50 to 60 other scammers.
Yeah.
He's forced to do this because he signed a 5-year contract. It's like some weird thing that
Yeah,
goes
it's
on
like
over there.
indentured
But
servitude
apparently
kinda.
they make decent money.
I'm sure they do. That doesn't doubt me. I don't doubt that at all.
And he says on any given day he can scam about 10 people.
Yeah.
Which that's $500.
You know what's amazing about this is, I guess I was surprised because what I was expecting was it was a phishing call and he would direct you somewhere to like type in a
I
pass,
hope I get another one.
you know?
Yeah.
But like the fact that he already jumped into the we need $50 seems like a bad move.
It's weird that he called me motherfucker so quick.
Yeah, well,
He
yeah.
called it very quick.
He must. Yeah, I mean, he must have.
You think he calls everyone that plays around with him a little bit?
Yeah, I guess maybe. I mean,
Like he went from being so polite and like
Yeah.
looking to help to be like, you
I mean,
mother.
I mean,
was
this is
like,
the
oh
thing
my
is
God.
like, India has some pretty severe poverty issues,
I know.
and if that, you know, I'm not saying this is a noble profession in the least. I'm
Well,
not saying it's a good
obviously
job.
not.
It's obviously not. But like, if you can't get bread on the table,
He just goes, you mother. I was like, whoa,
if your option is like shoveling shit or sitting inside in front of a computer and talking to people on the phone, like
we can't imagine ourselves right.
That's what I'm saying. It's
You're
like,
trying.
I'm not-
I know what you're saying. You're saying, but this is what it is. There is what you're saying,
yes,
and I get it.
for a
I
lot
get
of
it.
people. Yeah.
I'm not mad at that guy.
No, I'm mad at obviously the
You're mad at the world.
world.
You're mad
world
at
that
the
allows this to happen.
You're mad that this is even a thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, that's a weird situation. It reminds me to call my mom and remind her to not give out information on the phone.
And you really think she would do that?
She has done it. Not credit card information, but like she's fallen for phishing attacks. And hell, I've almost fallen for phishing attacks. Sometimes they're
Like what? What was the closest?
okay. So I thought I was being phished because our HR website has like a weird sub URL, which was asking me for a password. My password wasn't working. And I actually had to ask our HR and they're like, oh, no, that's fine. That's actually part of the site. It just doesn't work right now.
Yeah.
But I was like, did I just like type in all of my passwords that I could possibly remember into this site
and give them
and give them everything? So like, or like whatever, you redesign the Chase site and you have one letter typed wrong
Yeah.
and it brings you to a Chase lookalike site.
Yeah,
I
but
could
like there are
type in-
little nuances that legitimate websites all have.
Sure.
That are
Two-factor
pretty
auth-
much impossible to counterfeit.
two-factor authentication and stuff like that. But like my mom doesn't have any of that stuff.
You're right.
active.
I get it. Like this is going to sound super lame, but we do speak a different language than our parents' generation.
Yeah. And I'm sure our kids will do the same thing. Like
No, I think they're worse off.
They're worse off.
We know how shit works.
No,
Where
but you don't think they're going to have technology that we don't understand
Oh,
in the least?
totally.
That's
But I'm
what
just saying, like...
They're going to be like, what? You just used the blorp? What? You're an idiot.
So we used to have this conversation all the time where it's like, yeah, the generation behind us, like they're definitely more reliant on technology.
Yeah.
But like the whole thing was like, we might know how it all works better than they do, where it's just like, they just have the iPad and know that the screen works and that thing's like,
they didn't know the baseline.
right.
Yeah.
Like they were, which we're in a very unique thing, and it's obviously a very selfish, self-important way to look at it.
They will have a new form of technology that we don't know the baseline of.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they will.
Maybe.
Like some sort of weird ocular implant thing.
Yeah, where they're all getting digital contact lenses surgically installed.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean though, and it's it's a bummer, but like it'll always happen. It'll always exist.
Of course,
that stuff will always exist.
Of course,
it's a new form of pickpocketing. Essentially,
it's one of the oldest professions.
As Oliver said, you've got to pick a pocket or two. Actually, I believe that was Fagin that said that.
I don't know who
Oliver.
did in Oliver.
Yeah.
I don't know who exactly did that. But we'll finish on this cat and mouse game that's going on between Facebook and AdBlock. If you are one of those people that uses Facebook.com.
I've used it.
Have you been there?
Yes.
It's a website about social networking.
Did you delete your account yet?
No, but I haven't been on in about 5 days,
good for you.
which is like such a cathartic experience. So AdBlock, which is the infamous browser plugin that blocks ads, which we obviously can't endorse because we are completely based on ads.
Yes.
Our websites. But a lot of people use them. They're insanely popular. Facebook has a bit of a problem with AdBlock because, well, the majority of their revenue is surrounded by ads. Like it comes from ads. Like Facebook makes a buttload of money because they are able to serve billions of ads. So they've been going back and forth on the desktop version of Facebook because Facebook rewrote code that prevented AdBlock from sniffing out ad servers and blocking them.
Sure.
But then AdBlock pushed a update that circumvented Facebook's coding, and this morning Facebook has come back and been like, "No, we got you back."
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just want to talk about this real quick before we say goodbye for the week.
Don't buy.
I think the bigger conversation is AdBlock okay? And I guess on paper it is, even though it's like basically.
I don't think it's okay.
You don't think it's okay?
No,
it's not illegal.
It is not illegal. I think it is morally not cool.
Dude, I do plenty of things that are not morally cool.
And using AdBlock would be another morally uncool thing.
What is I'm not going to get into them, but
here's the argument for why people use AdBlock.
Oh, I know why.
They don't want to see ads, fine. But their moral high ground argument is, well, these websites put on really bothersome ads where they play audio or they whatever.
That's bullshit.
And that's why people say it.
Like if that's your only reasoning, you're kind of bullshitting yourself.
You're bullshitting yourself, which is to say, you know what the response to that is then? Don't go to the website.
Right.
If you like their content, you should be watching their bad ads. And if you think the ads are bad enough to not go to the website, you shouldn't go to the website.
All right, I'm a TV exec.
Okay.
I think people who fast forward commercials are immoral.
Yeah.
Who's right? Who's more right?
I think it's a very similar situation. I think morally it is questionable to fast.
Dude, come on.
I'm saying.
You DVR'd.
I do it all the time. I'm not saying I'm innocent.
Nobody watches commercials they've recorded.
True.
On purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. Sometimes the remote's on the other side of the room and it just like...
Sometimes you're just going to have to sit through it.
You're just going to sit through it. And like obviously on sports, you generally just sit through it because it's live.
Right.
But, TV executives have found a way to make a profit on the amount of ads that are watched by people that are not fast forwarded through.
Yeah.
So whatever. Or it shifts the paradigm where everything goes subscriber based like Netflix.
Yeah. We're definitely headed. We are there at a subscription based future internet reality. But I don't know. It's Facebook is not. Facebook's in a separate category for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
But when it comes to ads, Facebook ads are so ingrained to the philosophy
Yeah.
of their network. Like, you're seeing this ad because of the social network relationship you have with people on this service.
Yes.
Like, that is why you are seeing this. And that's the way a lot of ads work on the internet. But
you know what I would do?
what?
I think this is the solve. I know a lot of sites block people. They're like Facebook in this case, block people from using the site. I would let them read like one article and block everything else, if that technology even exists.
Or like maybe give them like a 30-second counter.
Or something like that, which is like, we know you have an ad blocker on. If you dug this article, you can read the rest of the site. You just have to turn it off.
Or you just do what they're doing, where they're figuring out, like, don't tell me that the people at Adblock are wiser than the people at Facebook.
I'm sure there are more people. I don't know how Adblock is. Is it like a free to whatever?
Yeah, apparently, and you know how it works, right?
Not really.
It's just kind of like knows advertising servers.
Oh, I understand. Okay, so
is the way I understand it.
I would imagine it's difficult to keep up with like
that ever-changing thing.
Yeah, and it's essentially anonymous, I'm sure, is supporting it. You know, Facebook has to pay employees. Yeah. There's a reason why VLC is the very best media program in the world. Is because it's free to use by everyone. Yeah. And so it's the best possible product. So Facebook's never going to have that
Some
edge.
People would disagree with that.
You don't think it's the best?
I like it. I like it a lot.
I think it's for viewing.
There's some people who don't like it. Some people who some purists.
They're wrong.
Some
that are using QuickTime.
Some video like playing idiots. Purists would disagree. But yeah, that's the story going on with Facebook versus Adblock, and that is the story with the 404 show this week.
Yay!
Thank you so much for tuning in. It is a great pleasure for us to provide you with an hour of entertainment a week. Mm-hmm. Hope you enjoyed what we had to say today. 866-404-CNET. That is the number. Or you could email us, the44@cnet.com. Happy to take your emails as well.
Yes, please do.
What else, Russ?
I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks.
Oh, you're just going to spring that on me right now?
Goodbye. Yeah, I'm going on my honeymoon, so I will not be here for the next 2 weeks. Jeff will probably do something interesting.
So let's look at a calendar, because you're not going to be here for the next 2 weeks, and then I'm not going to be here the following week.
So I'm gone on the 19th and the 26th.
Right. And then I'm gone.
On the 2nd?
No, I'll be gone I'll be here. Okay. I'll be here 26 and I'm going to Italy in September, but we'll get to that bridge.
Maron.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That's exactly right, Maron. Yeah. So everyone have a fantastic weekend. We are back here next Friday. I am, at least. And we'll figure out what we're going to do with Russ's absence. But don't worry, we'll make it work. I promise you that. Have a fantastic honeymoon there, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Enjoy it. All right. See you guys soon. I'm Jeff Bacalar.
I'm Russ Frushtick.
This has been the 404 Show. Thank you so very much for listening. I'll see you soon.